14K. Hello, hello, we are live. Happy Friday. I don't usually get on here on Fridays, but yesterday was such a crazy day that I just needed a break after I got done with my work. So today we're doing the frittata, which actually is a way better breakfast idea than dinner for me, in my opinion. So I'm super excited to show you guys how to do a frittata in your air fryer. So, hey, Allie. So this is something that I haven't done much of, but I just love the idea of being able to kind of prep something up, put it in my air fryer, go get ready for the day, and then have it ready to go when I am. So I'm going to show you guys how I would prep this up and how to cook it. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kate Horning. I'm a chef and nutritionist. I'm the creator of A Healthy Passion, which is a meal planning software designed to help busy women just like you know exactly what to eat when you're carb cycling. So what you do when you sign up, you put in your name, your weight, your height, your age, all sorts of information like that. AHP will actually calculate your macros that you need to reach your goals. So if you want to lose weight, gain, whatever. And then it gives you recipes to fit those macros. So it's really amazing. Hey, Susan. So it's a really cool tool if you guys are, wanting to know exactly what to eat. You want simple and healthy recipes that your whole family will love. And this recipe is one of them. So what you're going to need for the frittata today is a leek. So we're doing a mushroom and leek egg white frittata. And I honestly egg whites I could take or leave. I'm not a huge fan of egg whites, but I feel like when you do them in the right way, they're really delicious, like in this frittata. The reason why I do love egg whites is that they're a really good low-fat protein. So on regular macro days, sometimes it can be really easy to drive that fat up when you're eating regular eggs. So I'll use them for that, or on a low-carb day when I really want to get my protein up. So I feel like if you add the right ingredients, egg whites can be delicious, but just as is, they're kind of meh. So we're going to use a leek, and we're going to do some mushrooms. And that's going to be the combination of vegetables in the frittata. Hey, Amanda. And then we're going to do some goat cheese and egg whites. So 4 ingredients. And then we're also going to use our pantry. We're going to use olive oil, Celtic salt, and red pepper flakes. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and get the mushrooms and the leeks cooked up. And whenever you're working with leeks, if you're not familiar with a leek, it's similar to an onion. It's very mild, but it grows in dirt. So with leeks, whenever you're working with them, you want to be sure to wash them thoroughly, because what will happen is as they grow in, actually not dirt, sand, as they grow in the sand, they'll actually get sand in between the rings and they can be kind of grainy. So what I like to do with my leeks is I take them and I just slice the little root end off and discard that, and then I like to just kind of take this outside layer and sort of peel it off, and you can see there lots of sand. And then I just cut into nice thin rings, so sort of like 1/4-inch rings possibly. And then I just add them into my bowl of water here. And then I'll just separate the rings to kind of let the sand fall to the bottom and let the leeks sort of hang out at the top. Also, I know it's kind of early in the morning to be talking about wine, but if you guys are not in my low sugar wine group yet, it's an amazing resource if you're carb cycling and still want to be able to drink wine. We talk a lot about low sugar wines you can drink on low carb days. And we're actually doing a special order right now if you guys want to try the wine. We've got a little bulk order going on over in the group, so you can definitely go over and check it out. Okay, so leeks are in here. Then what I'm going to do is take my fingers and just kind of separate them. And what that's going to do is just release that, and I'm going to add a little more water just to make it easier. But that's going to release that sand from the rings and let it, again, fall to the bottom and clean them out really good. So we're just going to kind of get our fingers in here. And this is something you could do, in advance if you get home from the store and you want to clean your leeks, and then just put them in the fridge and they'll last. I would keep them in the water, obviously put them in clean water. And they'll last about 5 days, just like that. And leeks are just something fun. They're different. They're, a little bit more elegant than an onion. They're very mild. And for me, for breakfast, I like things that aren't quite as crazy. So I feel like a leek's a little better choice than an onion in the morning. Okay, so once you get those sort of separated, you just kind of give them a toss. Again, get rid of all that sand. Excuse me. And then just add them into the skillet. And I've got a skillet over medium heat here. We're just going to go ahead and add a little olive oil, Celtic salt, red pepper flakes, saute down that the leek and the mushrooms, and then we'll put them in with the eggs and bake them in the air fryer. So the cool thing about the air fryer, and we've talked about this before, but it's, especially if it's something like this that you're just kind of throwing together quickly for breakfast, it's a really great tool versus turning on a whole oven. Also, the way that the air fryer cooks, it circulates air similar to like a convection oven. So it actually allows everything to cook a little bit more quickly and evenly. So far, a lot of you have been asking me, should I get an air fryer? My response is that you don't need one, but it's a fun tool to have. It's definitely been fun to cook with. I feel like the food's turned out amazing in it. And you know, if you like kitchen gadgets and you know, like trying new things, and you know, especially if you're cooking for one or two, it's a great tool to like put your chicken breast in there versus turning on a whole oven, especially in the summertime. So would I recommend buying one? Yes. Do you need one? No. So it's sort of a personal choice at that point. And with a Healthy Passion, we're adding new air fryer recipes all this month, so we should have about 15 of them in the software here going into July. So if you do buy an air fryer, you'll definitely be able to come up with some really healthy and delicious ideas. The other cool thing about a Healthy Passion, if you're not using it yet, is all the nutrition information is listed for every recipe, so you can see the net carb breakdown. Because for me, that's the hardest part, is when I'm deciding what to eat, calculating those net carbs. So you can actually see what the net carbs are, and then you can put in, if you're carb cycling, you can put in your macro breakdowns for your low carb days, and the autofill will actually recommend low carb recipes to fit your goals. So again, a really great tool. If you guys aren't using it, definitely go check it out, ahealthypassion.com. So leeks are in there, mushrooms went in. Now I'm just gonna grab a little spatula, and we're just gonna soften everything up for, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, just till they cook down. And this is gonna be a nice full frittata. I don't mess around with my frittatas. I like them to have lots of veggies, especially again with the egg whites, because they're kind of meh by themselves. Okay, so then olive oil. I've got a little 6-inch cake pan here, so this is actually going to go into the air fryer. If you guys are big fans of like cinnamon rolls or cakes or anything like that you're going to do in the air fryer, this is a good extra tool to have. And I'm going to go ahead and get it good and greased up, because you don't want anything to stick. If you have parchment paper, which I do, that would be another thing you could kind of put in the bottom, but I'm just too lazy right now to take the time to cut it, but you want to cut it into a little circle. So I'm just going to grease this up really well and hope it doesn't stick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my egg whites, and I've already gotten them measured out here, but I've got 6 egg whites. I fed the egg yolks to my cat, so I saved the egg whites for me. And there's a little shell in there. So it actually worked out perfectly. Or when we make homemade pasta dough, we always have a bunch of egg whites left over, so I always save them for this. So 6 egg whites. You can also buy the little carton of them if you're not, if you don't have a use for your yolks. That's a great way to just get just the egg whites. Okay, so then I'm going to season up. Again, every layer we're going to season with Celtic salt, so a nice pinch of salt. You want to really flavor those egg whites, and then a pinch of red pepper flakes is going to go in there. And then I'm just going to give it a little kind of whisk together to combine. And then what we'll do is once the veggies are done, we'll put those in first. And then we'll put the cheese on, and then we'll add the egg whites, just so everything's layered really nicely. And I'm using an herb and garlic goat cheese, just to add, again, more flavor. When you're working with egg whites, you really just want to work on building layers of flavor. So this is just going to add another pop of flavor. If you don't like goat cheese, you could use feta. If you don't like feta, you could use cheddar. If you don't like cheese, you can omit. So it's very, very flexible. Once you kind of learn the technique, you can make it your own. And you can also do this with whole eggs if you don't want to do egg whites. That would also work out just fine. Again, I just like having some higher protein, lower fat options to hit my goals. Okay, so those are looking good. I'm going to let them go another minute or so. I really want them to cook down nicely, because I don't want, a big mound of veggies in there, but they're cooking up really, really great. So we'll let that finish up. The other cool thing is I'm not preheating my oven, so there's no, I'm not heating up my kitchen, which is especially great in the summertime. And I'll give you guys a little overhead snapshot of what this looks like. See if we can get this. So you can see how everything's kind of cooked down. The mushrooms have really reduced down in size. Looks really, really good. Hey, Christy. Put this back around here. Even. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put my leeks and mushrooms in here. Have fun. And then I'm going to top, no Willa. And then I'm going to top it with my cheese, like I mentioned. So you can see it's pretty full here. We're using about 1 ounce of goat cheese, so about 1 little disc. And I like to just take my fingers and kind of break it up so it's sort of dispersed throughout. So we'll just go like this. Really pretty. And again, you guys could go ahead and prep, say you want to prep for the week, you could prep this up in advance and put it in, this little container, and just wrap it with some saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator. and then bake it off when you're ready to serve. So if you don't like reheating eggs, which I actually love reheating frittatas, I think it's a really quick, easy breakfast. So I like to, you know, prep it up in advance and then just toss in the oven. But if you're not a fan of reheated eggs, you just do this and have it ready to go. Okay, so then we're gonna pop it into the air fryer. So I'm gonna move y'all back a little bit more here. So I'm gonna pull my air fryer out. And I'm gonna cook this at 360 degrees. So we'll turn it up a little bit there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the little cake pan right into the air fryer, and you guys can see it fits really nicely. So this is a 6-inch, I think it's by 2-inch tall. But see how that fits in there so the air can still really circulate around? And I'm gonna pop it in there, and I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. I'm guessing this is gonna cook about 18 to 20 minutes. With the air fryer though, I always kind of go err on the side of caution, and then I check on it. Because it's really easy to open it up real quick and check. So I'm gonna turn my air fryer on for 20. I'm gonna set my timer for 15. I'm gonna take a peek at it. You'll know it's done when you give it a jiggle and the center stays like kind of firm. So if it's still jiggling in the center, it's not done yet. And I'll show you guys what it looks like when it finishes. Obviously I'm not gonna sit here for the next 15 minutes and chit chat with you. I got work to do, but I'll pop back on, or I'll post a picture when it's finished and let you guys know exactly how long it cooked. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. And again, go check out Healthy Passion if you're not already a subscriber. Go sign up. It's an amazing tool to know exactly what to eat to carb cycle. And I'll post my schedule for next week. I'm actually going up to visit my parents. I'm not sure when I'll be on, but I'll be sure to pop on at least a few times. And if you're not in low sugar wine, come hang out in there. We have a lot of fun. We're gonna do some fun tastings next week up in Ohio. So I'll see you all soon, and have an awesome Friday. Bye.